This is the VAIO Z, a very portable business/school laptop with a hefty price tag. It's available in two different variations. The cheapest one costs $1,500 and features a dual-core i5 CPU paired with 8 gigs of RAM and a 256 gig PCIe SSD. Its display is a full HD matte IPS display. The higher-end model costs $300 more, and that gives you a dual-core i7 CPU, the same amount of RAM and SSD storage, and a 1440p display instead of a full HD one. In this video, we are taking a look at the highest-end model. In terms of connectivity, we are looking at two super speed USB Type-A ports, an HDMI port, headphone jack, and a card reader. In my opinion, the port selection is just fine, but I wish that they would have changed the horrible charging port to a USB Type-C port instead. It's 2017, we need a universal way of charging our laptops just like we had micro USB with our Android phones. So you might be wondering, what's the bad part about the charger? Well, the actual power brick is very small and portable, which is fantastic. It also has a USB port to charge something like a smartphone at the same time as your laptop. The thing I don't like is that you have to push quite hard to get it into place. The same goes with taking it out as well. It just feels quite old to me. So next time, please use a USB Type-C port instead. In terms of build quality, its screen and keyboard has a lot of flexing, which is the result of using a plastic-like material instead of a full metal design. It has an aluminum panel on the back of the display and on the inside of the laptop, but the rest is really just plastic. It is very lightweight though, so yeah, it all comes down to your individual preferences. The keyboard feels, in my opinion, quite nice. It has a very small travel distance, but it makes up for that in the actuation. Because of its metal panel, you can feel each click very easily, so it's quite easy to get fast at typing on this keyboard. In fact, I wrote this entire review script on it. A thing I don't like though is the quick tools. It just has volume and screen brightness adjustment. It should have play and pause and all that stuff too. The trackpad is of a decent size, however I do not like the surface of it. It doesn't feel smooth and continuous like some other laptops do in this price range. It's got all the Windows gestures like two-finger scrolling and zooming in, but because of its harsh feel, I'm not very fond of it. I like the screen though. Its bezels are a little bit too big for me, but other than that, the screen is sharp with its 1440p resolution and gets fairly bright. The colors felt a bit warm at first, but that's probably because I've been using a MacBook before, which tends to have a cooler color temperature. Now, because of its small size and high resolution, you have to use Windows DPI scaling, which if you've used it before, know that it is really bad. In some apps, text and images look surprisingly blurry or pixelated, while in other apps, it looks fine. In terms of battery life, VAIO is advertising 13.5 hours, which believe me, will never actually happen in a real life scenario. Me, myself, I got about 7 hours of use when writing and listening to music and about 5 hours of video playback. Now, if you're looking for a high performer, this is not the laptop to go for. Because of its small size, they had to put a smaller battery in the laptop, which in turn means that they had to use a lower performance processor. In Cinebench, it got a score of 364, which is definitely fine. It's not a slouch, but it cannot do things like video editing without getting extremely hot and loud. And with its 4 megabytes of cache, it can't do that much at the same time without slowing down significantly. So it's mostly a business/school and media consumption laptop. The PCIe SSD is extremely quick, which feels amazing in Windows. Everything is just so smooth. In terms of raw performance, I used Crystal Mark to test the disk speed, where the SSD got a read score of 2200 megabytes per second and a write score of 1300. So as a conclusion, the VAIO Z is a decent all-arounder for people looking for a school or business laptop. It's got a great screen and keyboard, and the PCIe SSD makes the laptop feel super quick at all times. It is expensive though, and it definitely has got some competition, such as the Dell XPS 13, which I reviewed almost a year ago. If you would like to watch the review of that, click the card in the top right corner of this video. So with that said, what do you guys think about the VAIO Z? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.